What's up, my Inquisitors? This is your boy here, and today, on this beautiful year that is 2024, I want to take you back to 10 years ago, a decade ago, in 2014, when Dragon Age Inquisition came out. Now, this is the first game that my wife ever bought me, and guess what? It was also the last. The clerk at the time, when she bought it at whatever GameStop, Best Buy, whatever the case may be, the clerk at the time told her, "You're gonna lose him for a while." And she did lose me for a while. 80 some hours later, I came out of my dark cave yelling, "I did it!" It was amazing. And if that was even before the Trespassers DLC. There was something beautiful and something magical about that time. And we go full circle now, knowing that not only did I went back this year and played Dragon Age Origin and Dragon Age Inquisition again, well, guess who's playing Dragon Age Inquisition right now? Yup, the wifey. Now we get to actually share that love together, and it's so beautiful. And as the Veilguard is coming out now, the reviews are coming out, and everybody's speculating, talking, saying what they want to say. I want to focus on celebrating something that came out at a special time and was actually very special. Now, a lot of people didn't like the open world aspect of the game. I don't really see it as an open world game. I do see their big maps. And there is some structurally issues with it, right? There's some issues with it, but I, per se, myself, didn't really have an issue with it. I know a whole lot of people had an issue with the hinterlands. I didn't, I never forgot that I have a mount. I never forgot that I could just go back to Haven and use my powers to be able to go to other places. That I figured it out pretty easily and early in. But the intro to this game, to me, also was a moment where I took my time because I needed to do things around the map. I needed to do quests so I can earn people's trust, build my Inquisition, get these members together to be able to fight these things, right? Because the Inquisition was basically an entity. It was almost like its own government body. We had to have uneasy alliances with some people. We had to be diplomatic about certain things. They gave you power, and they gave you a taste of what power basically is, right? You get to make choices, pass judgment, ally yourself with certain people. You get to choose who gets to rule. You get to choose how they get to rule, which was really amazing. And not only that, it was a culmination of all the choices that you've made before. I mean, they made a great point in this game to bring back Hawk, bring back Morrigan, to bring back a lot of characters that you've seen before, that you had ties with before, right? Just opening the game and seeing that Varric and Liana, or is it Liana or Liliana? Liana was there, right? These characters really cemented the fact that the things that you've done in the past really mattered. And did I expect games going forward being able to have that? Yes. Was it too much to ask at the time? I'm realizing that maybe. But being a BioWare fan, you understand that all their games had that one special thing, was like the choices that you can make, whether it is Jade Empire, whether it was Mass Effect, right? It was always about the choices, about the characters, about your party. The overarching story, yes, it's always nice when they can actually nail one that's really good. But sometimes it was really about your story, your party, and that kind of made the RPG element. BioWare makes RPGs, but they're not hardcore RPGs. They're not live your fantasy, make your own world kind of thing. It's a world that's already kind of made. It's creators, characters that already exist. You won't necessarily be able to change those characters a lot, but what you get from being able to talk to them, realizing more things about them, getting more, just knowing them more on an intimate level without talking about that, without the not safe for work aspect of it. But I think that's what really got people in. And listen, I was a Mass Effect fan first. Then I went to Dragon Age Origins when it came out. But everybody that knows me knows I'm not a high fantasy fan. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of high fantasy, but that game still found a way to get to me with its characters. That at first, sometimes some of them felt very, I'm like, oh, okay, here's the guy I don't want to be with, but I'll just bring him along because I like his skills. And then shortly after that, it becomes, hey, that I thought that guy was a bumbling idiot. Turns out he's got a good heart. Turns out he's got that thing. Or I thought that guy was just an assassin. Turns out he's got a heart of gold, or whatever the case may be, right? Um, that's what really make that game special. A combination of what I don't know, like the Dragon Age Origin came out 2009, that came out in 2014, so 5 years of making choices, that culmination. And then Dragon Age Inquisition ends with a big cliffhanger, right? That big hate's going to be resolved in the next game. Even like you watch the ending of Dragon Age Inquisition and you're like, okay, we're going to do this again, right? We're going to put the team together and go on one last hurrah, one last tour. That did not happen. That did not happen. That is not happening right now. I think that they're going in a new direction. It would have been great if they would have just said that from the beginning. But whenever we lose something special, whenever someone changes something, a lot of people get mad at the new thing. I don't. It just makes me love the old thing better. It's still there if I want to experience it. Um, and the new thing is still mine to be ignored or mine to be loved. When it comes down to it, I think that we'll all go back and look at certain things fondly if we have an open mind to it. I think that a lot of people didn't like Inquisition when it came out, the open structure, the overarching story. Some people thought that it was too bright. Um, hey, I mean, listen, too colorful. I've heard a lot of criticism about this game over the years, but I can tell you that right now is a moment of celebration for something that we've had, and we have a lot of love for, and the love that we have for something shouldn't make us hating anything else. But hey, listen, I'm probably preaching to the choir right now. So for these little moments, and then the Trespasser DLC was, in my opinion, one of the best DLCs that I've played. Not because it was like the best gameplay wise or it changed anything, but for when it comes to the story, the way it was actually setting up something which we were supposed to play um, in 2014, but we're not. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you on that. Once again, I think this is why it was such a special game for a lot of people. The landscape of those games in 2014. I mean, we had the Stick of Truth. We have like the Dark Souls. We had, we still had Divinity. The Divinity series, Original Sin, for those that really wanted to play like hardcore CRPGs. When it comes to action RPGs, you had like Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor. I mean, the reason why it won Game of the Year was really because there was nothing like it in the landscape at the time. And that's why it was so special. They gave us everything. It was a labor of love. It was a long game. It was a game that just respected your choice and respected you as a player and tried to give you something special. And we can see the effort. And that's why it's always going to be one of my favorite games in the world. And also, it was the first game my wife ever bought me and the last one. So it gave me like so many reasons to never forget the Inquisition.